Hey guys, this is a Jomala video because English PBO. May 10th was the day I was born into this world. I was born in a country called Laos, located somewhere in Asia. I grew up in Laos with my mom's parents for about 3 years, then we moved to Australia. I didn't really remember anything from then. We came to Australia looking for a better place to live and of course for the money that could be offered to us, because the Aussie currency. I mean like $5 would equal to about like 30,000 kip, which may seem a lot in Australian dollars, but in kip it's like it's only worth $5, and it's enough for at least 2 bowls of pho and a drink. Wow, 2 bowls of pho. Anyways, as years passed, I eventually started primary school. I was at the age of 5 when I started year 1. I didn't like school at that time because I didn't get to see my mom and dad for a whole 6 hours, and like almost every day I would cry, and as soon as my parents picked me up from school, I would like burst into joy all the time. As I kept going to school, I lost the urge to cry because I knew at the end of the day that I got to spend the rest of the day with them. One day in school, we learned about high school. I remember my teacher, she told us about that you could like always sit in tables and you don't have to cross your legs on the floor ever again. Because like I hated sitting on the floor. I don't know why, just hated it. Finally, I reached high school. The moment I've been waiting for. High school was great, not because of the school, but because my parents introduced me to a tutor, where I met this beautiful girl. Can't say her name, but her name starts with D, so let's call her Denise. Denise was very beautiful. Like, every time I saw her, it made my day. Like, she was, like, so beautiful. Like, she made me happy in a way no one else could. Let's leave it at that, because I can go on and on about her. Yeah, my life was going all great and good, and then everything took a turn. Since my tutor and my father were close, like as friends, they would meet every Saturday and drink alcohol. I don't know if my parents ever drank alcohol. Yeah, like maybe my tutor introduced them into drinking. I don't know. But ever since they started drinking, my life started changing. My dad kept drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking. And then he started to drink every day with his neighbors, and my tutor to the point where there was vomiting. He would then sleep in on the days he was supposed to go work, and eventually got fired. My mother was devastated and furious as soon as she heard the news that my father lost his job. Because my mother didn't work because she was busy taking care of our family, and we relied on our dad's job for our income. I had no job since I was only in year 10 and was focusing on school and other things. So yeah, that really had a big impact on our family. 2 years have passed and my parents got divorced and I was left with my father, while my mother and my 4 siblings moved to Canada to live with our cousins. My father did not change at all. He kept drinking and drinking, not changing at all. I remember one day, he told me he was going out to the pub while I was studying. He told me he will be home late. I didn't know what time late was to him because I used to stay up until like 4 a.m. in the morning watching Family Guy or other shows, but it was usually Family Guy. During the night, after finishing my sixth Family Guy episode, I realized it was 4:30 a.m. and my dad was not home yet. I started to worry. I tried calling his cell phone number, but there was no answer. It started to scare me now. A few minutes later, I get a call from the police saying my father was in hospital. I rushed to my car and drove to the hospital to find out that my dad had been in a car accident due to drinking and driving. As I walked up to him, tears started to roll down my face. His face was covered in blood, pretty much looked lifeless. I asked the doctor if my dad was okay. Even he didn't know if he was going to make it through surgery. I was speechless. All I could do was cry. I cried, like, literally I cried myself to sleep. I stayed at the hospital overnight, and when I woke up, the doctor gave me the news. My heart at that moment felt like it was going to burst out. And then the doctor told me he made it. Those 3 words soothed my heart. They made me so happy that my father has made it. I was so relieved. And I know that even though he wasn't that much of a good father, he is still my father, and I still love him. Because everybody makes mistakes. And at that moment I knew that my dad knew that he had to change. Or else he isn't going to go anywhere in life and going to repeat the same mistakes. After a few months later, my dad finally left the hospital and came home. He quit drinking, he got a new job and joined the gym. I'm proud of my dad choosing to change, and not only can he do it, but so can you. My dad was a victim of alcohol, and it may be hard at first, but there are many ways to overcome alcohol, and with help, it becomes so much easier. I told my dad to call these people. With their help and guidelines, my dad eventually got where he is supposed to be, and I'm just glad that my dad got to see me graduate. Don't be a victim of alcohol. Think about others, but most importantly, think about yourself.